good.
I went to the last show, so I kind of got
It's like 3 hours or something.
a little over.
It's not as anytime I go see like Michael and Jackson. It's like a Peter Jackson film. It's like 3.5 hours. No, we're still doing more songs.
I've seen it a couple times. You're exhausted.
I don't know. Yeah, it's like I don't know how the hell they can play that.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm in like 4 hours to sell like
Yeah, no.
I'm pretty conscious about your brand.
Well, they even still though. I mean, it's not good. I'm sure I put exactly right.
It's gone. That one's real good. That's just
Ready to get started? I need my podium. Powerless.
I didn't touch it.
Yeah.
Okay, there. My house is not here. Jordan, I thought you said yeah. I'm here. Yeah. Okay.
I think we're good to go.
Just over 2 years. Yeah, my wife and I. Now I July 3rd. So let's go 2 years ago.
I'm about 2.5.
Okay. Yeah. So we went to New Orleans and I educated her and they came back and was trying to learn that. It was crazy. Yeah. So
That's not all.
Has to music visuals. So exactly. It's audio reactive visuals for venue.
Hey y'all, thanks for coming out today and bearing the weather. It looks like a kind of a small group, but that's even better because we'll get more time to talk about what everyone's working on a little bit later. But generally, this to those who have not come to one of these meetups before, our goal here is just to talk about music tech, either on the hardware or software end. We also get musicians in here, so we'll have a chance to kind of go around and go around the room and introduce everyone and what they're working on or how they can help or what they can add to this group. But first, we're going to have these presentations from Stagelight. It's I'll let them describe it, but it's a cool MIDI controller with an awesome software element. So after they present, we'll open up for questions. Please feel free to get into the nitty-gritty of what their product does, and let's try to challenge them a little bit. If you guys can think of anything that they might not have the answers to yet, they're ready for it. So cool, and if you didn't see the beer in the back or water, please grab one. And at the end of this presentation, we are going to, they have a demo available to anyone who wants it, and so I'll have you sign up on the list there. If you don't sign up, I'm going to send out an email through meetup.com with a link to that demo. So no need to write it down necessarily right now. Any questions before we get started? Sweet. All right. The stage is yours.
Fantastic. Hi, I'm Matt Presley, the product manager for Stagelight, which what I'm about to show you. Here with me is Travis. He works in our marketing, does all of our videos, and Lourdes. She brings us users, lots of users, and does a lot of other stuff. Quick intro, we're a small company here in just south of town. Everyone at the company wears a lot of hats, and it's a lot of fun. And this is what we make. This is Stagelight. Let me ask you, so this is obviously a music tech meetup. How many of you are musicians? Okay. How many of you have actually played with music software before? Even non-musicians? No? No? Cool. All right. To all the non-musicians, how would you like to learn how to make music? Is it interesting to you? Like if you thought you could do it, would you want to? No? Some? Yes? No? Okay. That's kind of a question we ask, and I mean, there's a lot of great music apps out there right now. So when people ask, well, what's special about yours? Before we actually wrote one line of code, we all sat around a table and we said, what was your first experience making music on a computer like? I'm not going to go into every details, but unanimously we all had a pretty terrible experience. Why? We were brand new to it. We had no idea what we're doing. And by the time we got something to come out of our computers, it kind of sounded terrible. That's where we started off with Stagelight. We wanted to make a tool that a beginner kid in his bedroom maybe has had a guitar lesson or does or has not can come up to our app, get into it, and at least start learning how music is built. We do that by dropping you into what we call style lessons, and these are essentially a set of genres and subgenres that you pick. Let's see, for example...
Why are there two dubsteps?
Why are there two dubsteps? Because there's a volume 1 and volume 2. And, hi guys, welcome. I should also note that I'm running the beta version right now, so there's definitely some artwork that's probably going to get swapped out before we launch this new version. But Thank you for picking the genre. You just picked dubstep. If you don't like it, blame this guy. But this is exactly how a first-time user gets into the app. We put them into a lesson essentially, and the lesson walks you through. Hey man, welcome. Grab a beer and have a seat or your water. The lesson walks you through how to use the interface. So this is what we call Loop Builder. Anyone here familiar with Ableton Live? Think of this as like Ableton Live for touchscreen that doesn't look like Microsoft Excel. You touch and it plays. You touch another one and it comes in on beat. We don't need that too much. Besides playing clips, you can play with parts. And it essentially plays all of these loops in a column. And then from there, you can go in and you can add your own loops. You can audition drums, you can drop in dubstep, or you can mix and match genres all together. Add a few here and complete the lesson.
Can you slow everything you're doing down? Oh. Just like so we can see.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to use the mouse instead of a touchscreen. That is one thing I forgot to mention at the start. At the time we started writing this, we knew Windows 8 was coming, and we knew every PC manufacturer known to man wanted something cool to sell on their touch laptops. So if everything looks gigantic on here, it's for a reason. It's designed for touch. You can scale it down for those of you who are probably going to ask that. But yeah, essentially, to get started playing with music, you don't have to know how to play keyboards or guitar. You can literally just take loops and play them together like so. You can turn loops on or off. And that's essentially the start. Now, people who are serious want to get out of that and want to move into something a little bit heavier right away. And I clicked out of that window before I could show it to you, but we have all types of in-app lessons. This one just shows you how to play loops together. And before I go into other in-app lessons, let me show you kind of how that works. Besides just adding more dubstep sounds, we have all these other genres that you can pick. So maybe you want to do, maybe you want to add some folk sounds to this. Sure, why not, right? Anything you add, we automatically time stretch, and we're using the same time stretching that Ableton, FL Studio does, all the main DAWs. So you could do, let's see, sure. It automatically beat matches for you, so there you go. Hillbilly dubstep, awesome. But everything you stack will play left to right, essentially. And when you're done, you can share it as an audio file. You can share it to SoundCloud. If you want to put it in a full professional DAW with all your favorite mixing capabilities and plugins, you just use Mixdown tracks separately. It'll render stems out for you. And yeah, that's essentially the first part. Digging.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to understand what I'm looking at here. So you got a 4x4 grid.
Yeah. So I have. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Are they playing it? Is this like a sequencer or how?
Yes.
Yeah.
By default, each loop plays independently, but they are laid out like a sequencer in track. So I have a drum track here, a bass track here, and a couple of keyboard tracks. If I wanted to add my own, I'd hit add track, and I could drop in an audio track and record, making myself singing or playing guitar. Not going to do that to you guys. You're welcome. Or I can drop in one of my instrument tracks. We write our own instruments, and on the Windows and Mac side, we support third-party VST and audio unit plugins. Go into that in a bit. We also have a dedicated drum machine as well that plays all of our samples, and of course you can import and play your own if you want. If you have your own stuff that you want to use. What you got?
So those samples, like, where do you get those samples?
all over the place. We license them out through third parties, and we make them in-house ourselves.
So you record?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But to answer your question on the sequencing, yes. So everything is top to bottom for your tracks, left to right for linear. You can also choose how many times you want these parts to play. Like, for example, I have this verse part here. Verse part, maybe you want the verse part to play twice before it goes over to the drop. I have the menu items here where I can tell it to go ahead and play and follow, and I want you to play twice. And I want to put this in my follow group, and I want this to play, should start off on 1 by default, and maybe I want this part to play and go, 4 times. So how I have that configured, if I would share that, it would render all those loops playing the exact duration that I tell them to, essentially. If you don't mess with any of that, and I just shared it as is without configuring that, it'll render everything as you have it built out. So, if I think linearly in a lot of ways, and if I want something to play twice, I'm just going to go to this part down here and say duplicate, and it's going to play twice whenever I render it, for example. You can work that way as well. That's one mode that we have. We also have traditional linear or timeline mode as well. So if you're a guy that just wants to treat this like a 4-track, you can go to this mode and you can record endlessly. Hit the record button, it's just going to keep recording over and over and over. Not sure if it's recording me now since I'm plugged into the television. No, it isn't. But it's as simple as that. You can use it just like a 4-track DAW. Except we don't have track limits, so I should stop saying 4-track. Your limitations in this app are really based on the type of device you're running it on. I mean, if you're running it on something like a phone, 4 to 8 tracks tops. It's not very comfortable making music on a phone beyond that, in my opinion. But that's just me. That is one other cool thing we have. So today we're available on Windows and Android devices. How many of you have Androids? How many of you have iPhones? Good, awesome. We are working on it for iOS, just not there yet. Cool thing is it's the exact same code running on all platforms, so it's awesome. You can start a beat on your phone. You can hit transfer song. Actually, I should probably open up your drum beat before I do that. Well, either way, you can hit transfer song. Any other device you have on your home network will show up, and you just hit transfer, and it's going to zip it up and send the track right to my laptop to finish it. So it's pretty cool. That's something new that's coming out in a couple of weeks. You guys will all have access to beta copies if you're interested. But it's very cool. Once it's done, you get a little notification here, and I can just open up the song and pick up right where I left off. What you made for me, Travis?
I went really dark and creepy.
You did, man. Oh, that's better. Okay. Either way, you get the idea there. So the app today, we have a free version that you can download, and it essentially gives you all the beginning stuff that I showed you, minus all the styles. You only get 3 styles to pick for free. The rest you can purchase in our in-app store, where we have all of this content. These cover a pretty wide array of genres and subgenres. We're always looking to add more, so that's something we're probably going to start expanding out to the local Austin community. We want to cover more. We want to cover more subgenres of electronic music, of rock, of folk, of all kinds of stuff. One cool thing about all of our content, even though some of it is ours and some of it we license, we make sure the license is completely open for the end user. So you may not want to make music, but maybe you're making a marketing video and you want some royalty-free music that you want to have a little bit of control over. Anything you use in here, you put up on YouTube or SoundCloud or whatever, is not going to get taken down because all the rights are covered for you. What you got?
Are the packs, are you individually purchased, or is it subscription based?
Currently, they're individually purchased. I think they start off at like $2 or $3 a pop, and each pack will make, you know, easily, you can easily get 1 to 2 songs of content out of that. So all these packs actually are designed to go together to actually build a full song. So if you're like, man, I really want some rock backing music for a video I'm making, you can touch a pack, you can hit audition, listen to it. If it's something you like, come on, internet, there we go. Something you like, you buy it, and you can build your own arrangement out of it as easily as you saw me do on Loop Builder. Beyond that, we sell sounds. What are sounds? It's content for all of our built-in instruments. We have a built-in drum machine. We have built-in keyboards that have sample-based sounds, and we also have built-in synthesizers. So we fill that up with all kinds of good stuff to expand on. We have bundles as well. If you want to buy like every feature known to man, you can buy our Ultimate Bundle. It's very affordable, only $49. You don't think you want to invest that right away, but you want to unlock most of the application. We have core licenses that give you most of our features for only $10 essentially. So very affordable. And if you're wondering why is Linkin Park and Timbaland all over this page, they're part owners in the company, and they make exclusive content for us from time to time, and we feature it and sell it here. So what doesn't go on the record kind of comes out in our app. So unlockable features as well. We're an agile shop. We add new features roughly every 6 to 8 weeks and an update. Instead of making people buy a new version every time, it's, hey, cool, we made this new instrument. Here it is, $5. Just come get it. You know, it's a one-time thing. And our store is tied to a user account. What does that mean for our customers? It means that if I'm on the road and I buy Indie Folk Pack on my Android, when I log into StageLight on my Windows device, the purchase is there, and I can just choose to download it on here, and vice versa. That's also really cool on a mobile device because I think we have 16 gigs on this thing. Most of it's pictures or videos, cat videos. You probably don't want all your content that you've purchased on your device. So you can actually go in and pick and choose what packs you want to keep on your device or what you want to install when you need it, not always there taking up your space. All right, let's go into more features. Our drum machine. If you start a new song from scratch, that is what we show you because most songs will start off with some type of time base. How many of you have used Fruity Loops? Most of you, awesome. Very easy, you touch. How many of you who use Fruity Loops accidentally drag the mouse and like make a machine gun sound and you're like, I didn't mean to do that? We like to do it a little bit better. You can drag and it'll do half note, quarter note, eighth note, triplets, 16 note increments. So you can actually make something pretty musical right away. And of course you can also record everything from scratch using your QWERTY, or if you're on a touch device, and done. Obviously I made a bunch of double stutters. We automatically quantize everything you do, so if you make mistakes or have less than perfect timing such as myself, you don't have to worry about that. If you do worry about that because you have impeccable timing and you don't want StageLight messing with what you do, that is something you can easily turn off. How many of you play guitar? Everyone in Austin, of course. How many of you play keyboards? Cool. I play guitar. I don't play keyboards very well. But we have lots of keyboard instruments, and they're essential to every genre of music. So we have built-in keys, and we support your MIDI devices. One extra cool thing we do is we have a feature called Key Lock, and that'll let you set the key in a selection of modes, and we don't let you play out of that. So if you can tap these somewhat in rhythm, you can make a cool bass line, cool lead line. You can make cool chords without even really looking at what you're doing. Lots of good happy accidents, which is great. It also works on your MIDI devices as well. So if I had a MIDI keyboard I had plugged in, you just stay on the ivories and you'll never hit a bad note. If you do mess up and hit one of the black keys, doesn't matter. We automatically move it to the next note in the scale anyway. So yes, it's cheating for us musicians, but man, like I can follow anyone on guitar pretty decently. I cannot on keys, and I can make some really cool stuff with this. So I like to think of it as like a keyboard harmonica, you know. You get the notes you get, and that's it. Let's see, what else do we have? I'm getting there. Other cool features. This is a new one we're adding for 3.0. It'll be in the beta that you get. It's track freeze. How many times have you tried to make something on your mobile and you craps out right away because you're using too many reverb plugins? Track freeze fixes all that. It just renders everything in the background. I can freeze all my tracks, or I can freeze this one, and boom. Still great beat I just made, just no longer consuming my RAM or my CPU, which is nice.
Question.
Sure.
On the MIDI, how you had it go, like, you know, you had it in key the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you recorded something, could you go back and change those notes afterward? Like, do you get the MIDI information from
Yeah, watch this. So in Keylock,
Oh, cool.
you've got a full MIDI editor there, but now you're like, man, I want to do jazz. I want some notes to be off and awful
Kinda
sounding.
weird, yeah.
I'm kidding. Yeah. You can turn Keylock off, and you got the regular scale set. You can move the notes and do whatever you want.
That's really cool.
What is really cool, specifically, I mean, playing an instrument on a phone isn't comfortable. Going into our MIDI editor and just painting notes on or off like a step sequencer and not worrying about putting something off key, once again, it's another cool tool that you can do some interesting stuff with without having to physically play anything. While I'm in the MIDI editor, let me just show you the rest of it here. You have paint mode, you have touch mode, you have scroll mode, which will move up and down, left to right, etc. We also have these other tools here that are mostly for touch. I mean, if I have a keyboard, I can move notes up or down, left or right with my hotkeys, no problem. If I'm on a tablet, doing this and dragging is going to get really tedious very quickly. So I would say grab a bunch of notes, and you want to shorten them, you can use these these encoders over here to move things, transpose things up or down an octave or a semitone. Quantize is there as well. And if you're like me, I don't like things typically being perfect. You can move things in between the grid lines, of course, as well. And if you have a mouse, you can do that just as well. I like the app because it keeps you on rails, but you can also get as surgical with it as you want. Any other questions on the MIDI editor while I'm in here?
I do have one question. Do you pronounce it D-A-W or DAW? Because I've been saying DAW, and maybe I've been saying it wrong the whole time, and now you're making me self-conscious.
Let me ask you this. When did you start using DAW?
I mean, a long time ago I've been playing since I was a kid.
What decade?
So there was something called N-Track way back in the day
Whoa.
that I used, and then what I used after that was Cubase.
Cool. I went backwards. I started with Cubase, and then when I went to recording school, they were saying, check out N-Track.
Okay.
I go back and forth. Neither term to me, it is digital audio workstations.
Yeah.
The DAW is it, but
I think it's mostly I just read about it and talk about it online, and so
Yeah.
I'm not saying it out loud. So
I don't think it matters. I just like being lazy and saying one syllable versus three myself.
yeah, all right. Just kidding.
Yeah, other basic controls here. You can control your grid size. You can turn snapping off. Swing, you notice it's grayed out. Swing is something we have as a global setting. So if it's on up at the transport, you can turn it on in your patterns. If not, I mean, swing it manually. But this is cool because it does automatically adjust all your tracks in real time. So if you want to add, a weird shuffle, you can do that with one click versus going into all your MIDI patterns and doing it, bit by bit. What you got?
In this view or other views, can you cut or add fades or things like that?
In the MIDI editor, we have cutting and pasting. Like we have all these tools here. You can split notes and you can copy and paste them. I don't have fading specifically on MIDI notes. Like we'd probably have to make customized instruments that would actually support that. But we do have that at the pattern level, in timeline mode. So,
Or automation.
and we do of course have automation, yes. But if I get a timeline mode, I have fade handles on any of my patterns that I can do. I have gigantic cropping tools or looping tools, and patterns can also have automation. So if you were in Loop Builder and you wanted this whole thing to fade out, I could hit the automation button, set it to gain, and I'm going to go into paint mode and just draw it out like there, and it'll fade the whole track out for you. And while I'm on automation, yes, you can automate pretty much everything.
On the back page, if you
Yeah.
go back one, on this one, can you make those bars, like the green one, can you make those smaller, your loops smaller?
Smaller, like in physical size?
Yeah, like a quarter of that green one that you have right now.
That's as small as they can go height-wise. Width-wise is based on how many parts that you add, and
Well, time-wise is what I'm more concerned with, not so much visually. Can you
Oh.
reduce the amount of time you should?
oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, you can, and that's essentially done by these handles up here. So, I mean, by default, you can set up a pattern size, and in this song, it started off as 1 bar. If you want to make something shorter than that, you would just take this and
Reduce that.
reduce it, or you want to make it longer, you can drag it out.
Cool.
The drum editor is a little bit easier, and yeah, let me unfreeze you. The drum editor, since it is really just based on a full step sequencer, we actually give it to you in pages. You can do up to 8 bars on per drum pattern, and then you just have these little pages here that you step through for all the stuff. You'll notice how every page now looks the same. That's because whenever you duplicate a pattern, we automatically duplicate all your notes for you, so you don't have to go in and manually program it. But pretty cool. You can start off with a simple beat and then go here and drop in accents, and
Right on. Second question. Sorry, later.
Yeah.
You said that each track you make, each loop you make, bounces to audio. That's an awesome feature. I wish Ableton did that. Can you chop your audio?
It's coming.
Okay.
It's coming.
That'd be really cool.
I mean, you can chop it on Timeline View. We have split tools. And Loop Builder View, not quite, because I mean we don't have a full-fledged audio editor yet. Let me show you what we got while we're in here. Let me just drop in a drum beat. So I've got my fade tools here. I've got cropping and looping here. Inside my audio editor, I've got basic gain and I've got pitch. We're probably taking this feature out because it's not done, but we are working on that. And you can kind of see how it is. You get an overlay. It was supposed to automatically go in and slice everything on the transients, but it doesn't. But I can still go in and I can mark my own transients. We actually developed this particular feature in-house because we wanted to make groove templates instead of just having traditional 16th note or 8th note swing. So we brought in some funky drummer or some John Bonham loops, and made some groove quantize off of it. We are going to finish developing that because it is important for one big feature coming up on our roadmap later in the 3.0 lifecycle.
From your step sequencer, you had all those different samples. Can you go out and change through those different samples?
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and dive in on the drum machine while we're at it. Anything I touch here or touch here gets selected, and I can edit the samples. I can crop it. Maybe I want to
So much easier.
drop in an effect, maybe put a little distortion or compression on it. These are basic insert effects. I can pitch it, and we have 2 stretch modes. We have Smart, I didn't name that, which is basically, you change the tune but doesn't change the duration. But you can turn that off and you can make it just like a traditional sampler where it'll slow down and get all kind of screwed sounding. Basic filter, basic panning. We also have a choke group, so anything assigned to the choke group will get choked out so it doesn't play at the same time. Really useful for hi-hats, obviously. If I wanted to put another hat here and this was playing, it would go away. And you can also change these sounds out. So I have a menu here, I can change sounds. My drum browser is just like my loop browser, and I can sort by pack or drum type. So if I want to just see all my kicks, I can audition them on the fly, and then drop them in.
So you've got all your drums there in that like sequencer.
Mhm.
Can you go ahead and then group that and process them all? So like for instance, let's say you wanted all your drums to go through a glue compressor.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so check this out. So right now you're inside my instrument.
Okay.
If I go here to my track mixer, I've got insert effects, and I also have send effects that we can use as well. So if I want to bit crush everything, and then I want to automate the bit crusher to come on and off during certain parts of the song, I can do that. Once again, we support VSTs in the desktop version, so you can use your Waves plugins or your UADs. I haven't tested UADs, they may not work, who knows. But yeah, you can use all your third-party stuff, and it is just as simple as just plugging it in. Speaking of effects, these are all the effects we have built in. They're good, they're bread and butter. We all have our favorite stuff that we like to use, and none of ours are gonna sway you away from those, so.
You mentioned the different versions. How long has Stage Light been around, and how many active users do you have across the multiple platforms?
Oh, man. Well, we started off, I think we released, our first beta came out in 2013. We call it 1.0, but it had a third of the features that we had on our 1.0 roadmap ready. We just wanted to kind of get it out there and start, getting feedback. We came out with our full version, which we called 2.0 in 2014, and just last year we came out for Android, and as you might imagine, you go from being paid to free and covering on 6,000 different Android devices. I hate saying that number, that's way too many. Yeah, we're hovering around 100,000 monthly active users. So not as big as I want, but pretty good.
Maybe someone's already asked this question. Can you show me how the timeline for the drum beats breaks out?
Breaks out? How do you mean?
How many different kind of rhythms can you use?
That's all based on how many patterns you add, and
Right.
we don't have a limit on that. It's
Okay.
as many as you like. So I have one pattern here. If I want to change to another pattern, I just drop in a blank pattern and start from scratch.
Okay, so let's say you have one. I mean, can that break down into sixths, thirds, eighths?
Yes.
Yes.
So you can do half notes, quarter notes, eighth notes, triplets, 16th notes, 32nd, and 64.
And then we also have a MIDI.
If you want to get deeper than that, you can break it into a MIDI editor and zoom in as far as you want.
And can you turn your triplets into sixths?
Not easily, not yet. If you're gonna do that, you're probably in a different time signature, right? So you technically can. It's not the most elegant way to do it right now in our app. I would go change my time signature to something in 3 and then create a new pattern. If I do that, let's just say I go 3/4. I now have a 3/4 beat that's gonna play here, and then I can switch it back to a. I can switch it back to a 4/4 time if I want to in another part of the song. We want to automate that, just we're not there yet, and like I said, we're mostly targeting first-time users, so I haven't had anyone run into that yet. But in short, it can be done, but it's not as graceful as it should be.
Right, because I noticed when you bring in your hip hop library, all of what I'm talking about is already in there. It's in the library. But then I was trying to recreate that myself. When I was setting up my own drum rhythms, and I just couldn't break into sixths.
Oh, yeah, well, because once you create a pattern, it's locked to whatever time signature your song is set to. So if you want to, there's probably there's no easy way right now to modify a pattern's time. You'd have to just make a new one. Let's see, where was I? Back into the drum machine. Lots of drum kits to choose from. You, of course, can add your own sounds. If you're like me and you have your own sounds that you want to use, good news and bad news. Bad news is I don't have an easy way to bring in your own sounds in the app yet. We need to do that. The good news is you can literally just drag and drop your samples into this drum kits folder, and they'll show up in our drum browser. And once they're in our drum browser, you can grep search for them by whatever their names are, and you can build your own kits that way. Whenever you build up your own kit that you like, you just click here and hit Save Drum Kits, and it's saved forever into your library. Any more questions on the drum machine? No? Cool. Let's go into some of our instruments. I like big VSTs with lots of knobs. Once again, an app for beginners, probably not the best thing. We try to keep our main GUIs simple. So you have an X, Y pad, a couple different filter switches, some ADSR, and we have other stuff that you can go in and tweak on the back end. If you're really geeky, and I think most of us here are, that's why we're here, you can get further in depth by going into a parameter view and change all kinds of stuff. You want to do different pannings with different oscillators. They're kind of buried back here. But it's cool, it's big, easy to read, easy to operate with mouse or touch. And most of our instruments work that way. That's one of our synths. Our sampler instruments we have here, these 4 keys, or these 5, organ, keys, composer, etc. These are traditional, like Rompler style samplers, or just Romplers essentially. We have our own sounds built in, more that you can get through the store, or if you like to use SFCs, you can also import your own sounds by that. If you want to know how we make SFCs, because there's no really good commercial SFC editors, we like to use Contact, and then we use a translator to just move it to SFC and then bring it in. Not the best, but it works for us right now. So, but not really much to say, but they're easy to use. They have some pretty cool sounds, and they're all expandable. More features. Sends. I mentioned we have sends. And how many of you are familiar with send tracks? I'm assuming most of you and how they work. Oh, cool. Let me just show you. For those who didn't raise their hands, sends allows you to use one instance of an effect and send all your tracks through it. Why do you want to do this? Because people have been doing that, making records for decades. So it's what people are used to hearing. It's also beneficial because it uses up less CPU. Remember when I was using Cubase on my blazing fast Pentium 2 400 processor, I would run out of tracks and I would stack reverbs and not understand why I couldn't finish mixing my song. And then I discovered how to use sends, and everything got immensely better. For example, I'll pick a reverb and sure, drum room, why not? So I've assigned, I have this keyboard, I want to send it to my reverb. I can change the amount of it, and I can do the same thing on my drum track here. I can go through here and let's send it through a reverb. If I played those parts, if I played both sounds together, they now have the same reverb sound on them, and you know, sounds like a send. Another new thing we've added in 3.0, we've had this track mixer design since we came out with our first beta. And it's good because it's not overwhelming. There's not 1,000 buttons on the screen, and new users aren't feeling like they're in the cockpit of a 747. We do know that we need a real mixer view for guys like us who really want to get in. So we have that as well down at the bottom corner here. Shows you all your tracks. It's fully multi-touch. You know, you can mute and solo things. You can show or hide sections of your mixer, like your sends, your plugins. Even just hide your channel strips and just focus on your sends. Kind of a mobile first style feature, but definitely necessary if you're doing stuff on a tablet or a phone. But that's essentially it. You have a master track. You can drop in your favorite plugins on your master track. Sorry about that. You'll also notice on our mixer we have built-in high-pass, low-pass filters on here, and I'm going to open up something that doesn't sound completely terrible. What do we have? You just made this one for me, right? There we go.
That one sounds terrible.
That really does, Travis. You're letting me down, sir. Now, this is something I've always wanted to see in any DAW like Cubase. I've wanted to see, without having to pull up a plugin, I've wanted to see the frequency spectrum of all my tracks, because it really helps you clean things up very quickly. Because you can see if you have, let me just throw in a few loops here real quick.
I think it definitely helps with being able to see if you have two sounds that are in the same frequency or not.
Exactly.
Is that something that you either have to guess or just write down right now?
Well, it's still kind of guessing, obviously, just because it's, I'm not showing you exact frequencies and it's that big on the screen, but you can see a build-up, and what I really like is you can see the reference here, and you can also see what your master bus is doing too. So this used to be twice the height in our last version. We'll probably make that an option in the future just so you can kind of see it a little bit better. But still, I can see that I don't need most of this down here. I didn't put a bass on here to really do a real demo, but shaving stuff off here and there. You see it update here in real time, and if there's something that's a problem, I can see it right away in a stack of tracks. So I'm really happy. That was one of the #1 reasons why I wanted to have a real mixer in the stack, just so I could see all those together. That and sends, which is another new feature. Which I can't mix without sends. Couldn't in 1997 and can't do it now. Any questions on the mixer? What you got?
Well, it seems like a lot of features you've described, there's like simple way to do it and then advanced panel behind the scenes or something like that. So you probably have sort of a split user base of people that are like, I've never made any music and I want to try it, so I'll try Stage Light. And then people that are like, I use Ableton, I want a slightly simpler way to do it, but they're coming from the more advanced side. So do you have analytics that are kind of tracking and splitting up, these are our simple users, this is how many we have, these are our advanced users?
Yeah. Percentage-wise, I think it's 60% of our users either self-identify as I'm just getting started or I have no clue.
Okay.
The rest vary from, I'm making some songs, or I've had an album release, or whatnot. But yeah, it definitely is geared, and it's kind of funny because for me, I got bit by the music bug really early. I wanted to get advanced really, really quickly. And one reason you're seeing all these extra advanced features pop up is we want to retain these beginners. We don't want them to learn, get their feet wet and realize, shoot, I really need Ableton now to do good follow action functionality or good mixing functionality. So we've been slowly just adding more advanced features, but still making the showing as little as possible to always make it, as approachable as possible.
Right.
One cool thing is you can set the app up any way you want to work. And one thing we are going to do, probably sometime during the 3.0 life cycle, is get to the self-identifying section when you first launch the app. So you can say, have you used any of these programs before? Yes, cool. You're going to bypass the whole genre style lesson thing because you don't really need that. You're going to get right into a quick lesson on how our drum machine works, or how the MIDI editor works, or
So would you say that the advanced features are more for what you described, which is that retaining the simple users, or for satisfying people kind of coming from other apps?
A little bit of both, but mostly on retaining users, because once again, if you are progressing and you are seeing that we're lacking features that Fruity Loops has, which is only $100, we don't want you to go. On the flip side, I also like the idea of, because if you are a diehard Ableton guy or something, you're not going to use this. I mean, maybe you'll use it if we have an iPhone version because there's no Ableton version on iPhone, or there's nothing really quite like it, but maybe Chord or something. You know, we want people like us, like you and I, to say, man, you're just getting started. Don't spend $500 or don't even spend $100. Try this out free first. Make sure this is for you. You know, you don't have to make the mistake like me where I bought a version of Cakewalk first and then realized, oh, this doesn't record guitar because it's only MIDI. What the hell is MIDI? Damn it! And then have to go spend $300 on Cubase. You know, it should be free. Like we want to make music. We want to make music creation approachable to everybody, regardless if you have a couple $100 to spend or no dollars to spend.
What are your learners interested in most when you're starting out?
When you're starting out, depends on the user.
Dubstep.
EDM. So our three top genres that people gravitate to, like we used to ship, our installer used to be several hundred megabytes because we included a bunch of content like right out of the bat on Windows, but 60 to 70% would gravitate towards hip hop, dubstep, or rock. Which is weird. Rock still sticks out. I don't know. It didn't make sense. I expected like electronic dance, one of our other EDM packs to be top, but it's rock, hip hop, and dubstep that people are gravitating to.
Got a question. So everyone reads about piracy on Android, and actually I have a friend firsthand who encountered it recently. Is the freemium model working in terms of combating piracy on Android?
I haven't looked for a crack in a while, but I haven't found one yet. The last one I downloaded was actually for PC, and it definitely had a virus in it. It wasn't our software.
Yeah.
But I mean, really, right now that's not really our focus. We're focused really on getting users, still building the platform. We have so many ideas that I'm itching to get in there that it's not there yet. And one thing about it is it's free to download on the Play Store. So to me, that fights piracy there because you don't have to do anything.
Sure.
When we first started beta testing on Android, that was actually really cool because we have well, let me just show you. On Windows, when you're buying stuff, you add stuff. You own everything, don't you? All right. You add stuff to your cart, you put in your credit card information, it's securely processed over PayPal and all that good stuff, and you download the features. If you look at the sheer amount of items we have on the store, managing this outside of Windows and having to manage a dedicated Android store and a dedicated iOS store would be a complete logistical nightmare. I mean, we run sales, every 6 to 8 weeks, and we'd have to go in and update prices on every individual item. We don't do that. On Android, we have a credit system. So you buy a $1 credit or you buy a $5 credit, and you can use those on your Android device, or you can use them also on Windows or Mac if you're logged in to the same user account. What we found was there's a lot of people that had token spoofers on Android, and they would go in, and our boss came in and was like, man, someone gave us $1,000 on the Google Play Store already. This is awesome. I'm like, no freaking way, dude. So I was like, okay, here's this beta tester. Yep, he's just going in and he's hitting buy, and they're not being authorized, and our server is giving him all this free money. Good thing it's not free money. We own a lot of this content, and we can easily log into the system and turn them off. But that's something I emailed like, dude, show me what you're doing. Nice skills.
Oh, that's great.
Took him a while to get back to me. He was very scared for some reason. Like, this is a music app. You're not stealing government secrets. It's totally fine. We don't hate you. Just tell us what you did. And then he sent us his tools, and we were able to work around it. So
that's awesome.
We haven't had any incidences like that. There's ways to, unlock free things in the PC version. We make it very easy by printing these codes on the back of our cards that get given out everywhere. And those get leaked online, and that's okay.
Yeah.
We have a threshold. We turn things off once they've been used too many times, so we're not too concerned about it at this point. Cool. What you got? Oh, I thought you raised your hand. I'm sorry.
Yeah. As you've been describing it, I've actually thought that it reminds me a lot of Logic.
Really?
Yeah, especially the layout and just the look of it. And I was just in a lot of the features and stuff. So I was just wondering, like what makes your app distinct from other programs such as Logic, Ableton? Why is it different? Why would you choose this over one of those?
Well, all good points. And Logic's a great app. It's, I started using it in 2003, right before Apple's had no PC support, so I didn't pay for it then. The big thing that makes it different is we were really trying to go, there was no GarageBand equivalent for Windows. And that was actually really our goal at first, was let's make something easy like GarageBand, let's make it as affordable as possible, and with Windows 8 coming out and touch being a big focus, our owner saw a big opportunity in that. And so we went to Dell, we went to Lenovo, we went to Acer, and they preloaded it by a huge amount of their consumer products. So that was like our first, that's kind of how we funded the company, essentially. But we're kind of getting past that now. I mean, we're not, we have just as much Ableton functionality and just as much Fruity Loops functionality as we do just Logic. I take that as a compliment though, but really, today what makes it different, it's completely free to get in and start playing. If you want a really good level up, it's really cheap, it's only $10. It's on Android, which you can't say that about Logic, and you can't say that about GarageBand if you're on Android. And it's a lot easier to use and a lot less clicks to do all the basic stuff. I mean,
yeah, the Android core unlock is only $1.99. So I mean, you can download the app for free, but if you want all the core features, then it's only $1.99.
So if I was going to install this on Dell computers, where do I do that? Do you have a website?
Just go to our website and just pull a free copy, or like I said, we're giving away the $10 version on the back of these cards. So,
wow, that's
Here, open up the Alt tab it, because we got I had the browser open.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, just openlabs.com. We also have some really cool cool concepts going on right now. We partnered with Intel and Lenovo, and we joined up with Linkin Park, and we're hosting a 12-month-long music contest. And each month is a different genre. Right now it's rock. Next month is electronic, and then it's hip hop. And then we kind of go wild card for the cycle at the end. But it's a pretty cool opportunity for any music creators out there. You can win a complete studio setup, gear from, if you click on the prizes,
sure,
kind of break it down. But yeah, it's pretty cool opportunity for anyone who makes music. And maybe if you are a fan of Linkin Park, this is even bigger for you guys. But first place, you get a completely new Lenovo Idea Center. It's the Y900, Y900, and it's a pretty powerful gaming computer, and it's completely customizable. It comes with, and we also ship it with Blue headphones and Blue mic for you guys. And then runner-ups get an all-in-one by Lenovo as well. But it's a great opportunity for anyone who does win. Right now, our winners, we have three winners so far. We just added our new one. So like Flares, he made the best electronic track. You can check it out on the site, contest.openlabs.com. These guys are all over the world, and it's pretty cool for them because they're in the running, and basically Linkin Park's gonna pick one of these guys to go in and take into the studio for like a mentoring session. So I don't know if y'all are into that, but if you're a music creator, there's definitely some cool opportunities there.
This is the second one of these that we did. The first one, they picked he happened to be one of our biggest supporters from Bangladesh. And they flew him over, got a bunch of great video out of it. It's pretty cool. We do lots of things like that. We did one with Timbaland and Lenovo, and Timbaland signed the guy that won. That's kind of cool. We've helped make a couple of careers, and the guy in Bangladesh he does a lot of stuff over there now.
Yeah, this guy won. He's out of Bangladesh, and he was stoked. I don't know if he can play on this. It's kind of funny. We actually Skyped him, and told him he won.
You won the grand prize.
Yeah, he was stoked. We're working on the video still from when we recorded in the studio. But he was so, he's never even been to America, nothing like that. He's.
You guys pick the winners, or is there voting element?
So Lincoln Park gets to pick the final winner. It's taken to the studio, but
we give them 12. We get them 12 artists and 12 tracks to listen to.
Yeah, for the current contest, we do vote all. The entire Open Labs team will listen to. Like last month, we had over 300 submissions. Here, just click the contest here. You can kind of see the live content. This is how it kind of rolls down. Like month 5 right now is rock. You just upload it, and then all these songs are the submissions, and then there's multiple pages. Cool. But yeah, kind of put that together, and that's been a big community building for us. I mean, we've added a lot of people that way, and then right here you can just click Get Stage Light, and anyone who signs up for the contest automatically gets a free core copy, so you get the $10 version.
Nice.
So if that helps you out. Some people, we don't, if you use Logic or if you use Ableton and you want to submit, you can.
Yeah.
And if you don't make music and you want to vote on your favorite song, there's also weekly sweepstakes prizes for voters. You can just log into Facebook or create an account.
Yep.
Y'all should hook up with Indaba Music.
We actually have
did a
done
contest with them too.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, and
very cool.
actually, if you go back to Stage Light, a few of we did a sample contest, and so if you go to our loop packs, at the top, I'll show you. We have a couple. Let's see, Meltdown. This one,
Delta was another.
yeah, Bengal Delta was a winner too. But these guys won the Indaba contest, and they won like $1,000 cash, and now we're selling their content in the store.
Cool. Well, we're at about time now. Does anyone have any last questions?
I got a question.
I have a couple last ones. Cool.
Sure.
I'm kind of curious, did you guys build your own sound engine? Are you guys using Juice or something like?
Bingo.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been using Juice since, long time, since 2008, 7 or 8.
Are you pretty happy with it?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, it gets better and better with every release. We're having to modify a lot less than we were in the earlier 2000s. Yeah, it's very solid. Our developers love it. That's, all I say is, there anything else you want to try? Nope, Juice is good.
Awesome.
So you're saying the same code that you deploy to Android devices, you're also deploying to your Windows devices? So I guess given that you kind of have to develop for the lowest common denominator, which would be Android in this case, do you feel like that limits what you want to do with the software in any way?
Not really. I mean, it is the same code. There are things that obviously we can't take to Android, like VST is the most obvious example, for example. But for the most part, no. And as painful as it is, our developers love working on new things all the time, and going on Android makes us spend a little more time getting it right and getting it optimized, which works better on Windows and Mac as well. So, funny thing about that, to actually even get it to work on Android in the beginning when we first started, we actually had to port it to Apple first because the tools for Windows on Android at the time were so severely lacking. You couldn't debug. Our only chance at trying to debug on Android was using the Mac tools, because it's all C++ and the NDK wasn't what it is today. So
We've had to work hard on latency as well with Android. They didn't really have it as far along.
No.
But we partnered with Intel and Google to help work that out.
Oh, wow.
yeah, I mean, Intel did a custom chip before they started.
ARM processor.
Yeah, for what they announced today. But yeah, Intel did it first, and then with Marshmallow, it's a lot lower. I mean, the problem is it's still with Android, it's still a very device-centric thing. So there are other features I really want on the Android version, so it'll still provide a better experience on high latency devices. But Samsung or Nexus devices are pretty much the best you can get right now as far as latency goes that we've seen.
And how big is the Open Labs team? Just everyone?
About 15?
No, about 11.
11. I guess we.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Yeah.
Well, you can't count interns.
They come and go.
Yeah, no, we have interns that come and go. But yeah, about 11.
Is this your only product at Open Labs right now?
Yeah.
Okay. And you've been working on it since 2013?
Mhm.
That's when you started? And then,
Well, we had a beta in 2013, so we started on it roughly in 2012.
oh, okay.
Cool.
When, I guess, how did that team expansion look? Like going from 1 or 2 to 11?
Yeah.
That's how it
Well, when
happened?
we first started, we had just one core developer, and we had an existing code base that we were working off of from a previous product. It's kind of more geared towards live performance, which is a lot of fun. But let's see. And we pretty much brought on 2 other developers in 2012 to start on it. But they were all later. Like most of it was one developer, and then halfway through the year we contracted out a guy to help us with some sounds, and then we brought in another guy to help with store and all the networking parts of it. So it's really been most of the same 3 guys for most of the time.
Cool. Well, how you guys got another one?
Do y'all consider yourselves competition for Ableton Fruity Loops?
Fruity Loops for sure.
Fruity Loops is probably our closest competitor, just because of a price thing. And I mean, if you read their stats, they say their product is downloaded over 30,000 times a day. I'm sure they're counting cracks as well for that. But yeah, I mean, right now, like I said, I still see there's lots of things we still need to do before I would put us head to head. I mean, me saying right now would be like the equivalent of a kid trying to beat you up with one hand tied behind his back, you know. But it's getting there.
Good.
I definitely think our mobile offering is way better than theirs. I would put us ahead of that easily and challenge that into anyone any day.
Right on.
And then last thing before we kind of transition, this is our version 3.0. You can go and download StageLight 2.4 today on openlabs.com. If you see me or Matt or Lourdes, we can give you a free copy of our core. And then if you sign up, we can definitely get you the 3.0 beta version before it comes out.
Yeah.
And then actually we're looking for Mac users specifically. So I know a lot of people raise their hand for Mac, and if you are a music creator and you want to kind of dive in and help, yeah, definitely help us out. And if you dig it, that'd be great to, give us some feedback.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. Awesome project, obviously. And if you don't end up signing up, I'll be sending out an email to everyone that is a member of the Music Tech group. So you'll be in a link to that 3.0 for sure. Okay, so we're at 8:15 now, and I want to leave ample time for networking. But typically we go around the room and everyone just says what they're working on and how they can assist the group, or what they're good at and how they can bring something to the table. So if we can keep that under 30 seconds a person, that would be fantastic. So we have some time for networking. And then a quick note, htxmusictech.com is a website that a lot of people in the music tech community here have been working on. Essentially, it's what we want it to be is just an online community for startups in Austin that are already that are in development or already have a product, and we also want to include resources there, and we're bringing on a editorial element of it. So we'll have news based on Austin music tech, and so if you have a company that you're working on and want it to be featured, give me a holler and we can put it in or onto the website. If there's anyone that you know that might be interested in Austin music tech, please send them my way or send them to the website where they can get some more information. So I'll start off going around the room. My name is Alex Mitchell. I'm a co-organizer of this meetup. I also run a music startup called Music Meets Video here in Austin with the co-organizer of this meetup, Luis. And we've been going for about 2 years now in the Capital Factory Accelerator, and it's sort of like The Voice or American Idol for the YouTube generation. So we host online contests with cash prizes. You guys know what they do? Okay, of course. So let's go this way.
Oh, all right, here. My name's Dave Spanton. I am new to Austin. I'm not in the music scene or the tech scene. I'm actually jobless here in about a month or two. I'm going to be living off my wife. I'm a former senior policy advisor to the chairman of the House Armed Services Committee. So a program director for a very large helicopter manufacturing company. And then I've also spent the last couple of years as a director of human resources. So if you need any help with any of that stuff, let me know.
Welcome to town.
Thanks. Oh, I'm here to learn from all you guys. That's why I'm really here. Here to learn and have fun. So thanks.
My name is Joey. I am currently in the Cody Bootcamp at UT. I also play cello in a shitload of bands around town, and so just sort of wanted to start intermingling those two fields of mine. So yeah, that's about it.
I'm Andrew. I currently go to UT. I'm a third year studying computer science and digital media. I also make music, released an album last week, hip hop, and I'm just kind of looking to get involved in the industry outside of classes and all that.
What's your name? Artist name?
Andrew Duna. My real name.
Where can we find your music?
It's on Bandcamp.
Andrew
Andrew
Duna?
Duna. D-U-N-A.
We'll play it after everyone goes as our background music.
Okay.
Cool.
Hey, my name's Alex. I just kind of started getting into the music, I guess, making industry, what you call it. And so I'm hoping to put out an album within the coming months, but yeah, I'm just kind of here for ideas and see what's going on, see what people are doing. And I have some management tools that I've been working on as far as to help people with how they extend themselves in the industry and how they kind of organize their involvement. So if you want more information about that, maybe I'll give you my email.
Cool.
My name is Aaron. I've been here probably 3 or 4 times. It's been a while, but I really enjoy this group. I'm a composer. I write a lot of electronic music, mostly on Logic, actually. I'm a violinist, playing bands and stuff, and I teach music too. So I was really interested in maybe using this in one of my classes, because we use Dells, and it's not easy to find programs on Windows. So.
Awesome.
Thomas Kane, software developer and digital marketer. I'm currently working a lot on something called closed loop marketing automation, which is like your user experience and your user action, educating your marketing automation, and then that connecting into your sales pipeline, like Salesforce and all that, so that all of that activity can then re-inform your marketing automation system to then update your user experience, their A/B testing and all that kind of stuff. So just that closed loop piece. So I'm doing by day. By night, I'm working on a product with a team called Enlistserve, and it's a shared resource pool, free shared resource pool for people that are launching new products. Find that getting your email marketing list of the first 1,000 people is generally the hardest thing for people to do, but a lot of the stats show that if you have over that threshold of 1,000 people, your chances of success just skyrocket. So just helping people get to that list of 1,000 people that are segmented and interested in what they're doing. So that's Enlistserve, and that's what we're working on tonight.
Public speaking makes me a little bit nervous, so pardon me if I trip over my words. My name's Alec. I produce music. I'm currently a student studying media production, psychology, and business. I think I might actually be taking school off for a little while to work on the business idea me and my coworkers are doing right now. I'll actually let the third man talk the most about it because he's the best at public speaking. But very committed to music. Made a decision a while ago that music was going to be my focus. I've been making music for about a year. My artist name is Polychromatic. I'm not where I want to be, but it's electronic music. I focus a lot on synths, and I think it's going to come out really good in the next couple of years. But I'm happy where I am, working hard on it.
My name is Saeed. I'm a DJ and producer based out of Houston, as well as a co-founder of a company called Musers that we're starting. I've been producing music for 2 years, and I started playing out shows probably in November as a DJ. And yeah, and I go by SJPJ because I DJ my PJs.
He does a weekly show every single Tuesday.
I
committed to it.
every Wednesday at 2 p.m. I live stream in my pajamas DJing.
What do you use on live stream?
Facebook. It's a fantastic marketing tool. I highly suggest anybody who's trying to get their name out there to use it. Because I started out with maybe, I think like 50 or 60 views in a week, and now it's up to like 400 or 500. And I've only done it for 9 weeks, and so it's crazy how it exponentiates super quickly. Because people relate to it, it's a video, and so it's easy for them to just kind of like see that you're there and playing and interacting, rather than it being something that you like post a link or something like that. So it's pretty cool.
Hi everyone, my name is Chris. I am, as well as my 2 other co-founders here, one of the co-founders of Musers. It's a big aspiration and big ambition that we have underway in development. Long story short, to kind of bounce off of how we can be here to serve you guys. Musers serves as a community and social networking platform aimed to connect fans, artists, and actual event planners themselves, all for the purpose of organizing, sharing, and being able to cultivate the experience of music. Our long-term ambitions is that anything that's music related, whether you're finding out that Ricky Mountain is in town or that Hannah Montana is coming out with a new album release, all of that information we want it to be manageable and obtainable, and more importantly, shared through your friends and through contacts directly from an app. And so that's kind of the general gist of what we're going for. We need all the help that we can get. But more importantly, if you are a music producer or even an avid music listener, please reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to put you on an email list, and we'll make sure to send out the invites to make sure that you guys are the first ones to try it out. So we can happily use any vendors our way.
Do you guys have 1,000 people on your email list yet?
Hey, we have maybe about 4 if we get one person here. We need some help.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Alec Boyd. I'm one of the co-founders at B&O Records. I started out playing in bands and being audio engineer and mastering engineer a little bit. But we're a crowdfunding platform that specializes in vinyl records. I don't know if you guys know anything around it. It's a mess to get, if you're a small band, to get pressed out. So we want to help out smaller artists. I'm going to talk to you guys later, maybe you get something out about starting like crowdfunding campaigns to get stuff pressed onto vinyl. Cool.
I'm Theron Prey. I am one of the co-founders of Synesthesia. We're a local Austin-based startup, and we're doing live music visuals. So it's a piece of software that analyzes the sound on the fly, turns it into visual art made by a bunch of different creative coders to try to just amplify the musical experience, whether it's just at home on your computer or on the live stage. So down to talk anything about audio programming or just startup life in general, or visuals. So
cool. My name is Jordan Patapoff. I'm one of the co-founders of Clip. Clip is a streamlined audio sharing platform used primarily by musicians to get feedback and collaborate on their works in progress. So if you're familiar with SoundCloud, it's similar but more raw content, works in progress upstream. So a lot of creator to creator interaction, where something like Bandcamp or SoundCloud is more creator to listener. Why I'm here to meet these awesome people, to learn about stage light, and really huge objective for today, just kind of network and talk to people.
My stage light song, go to Clip.
Absolutely. I can't right now. I saw you have an export to SoundCloud option, but that was something I was hoping to talk
Eventually,
afterwards.
I met you at that. It was our mutual friend Dwight.
Yeah, Clark.
Yeah.
So that's right. I was looking over there. I was like, I know you from somewhere. I don't know if it was the last.
I got your card and I actually gave it to our product manager, Chris. Not Matt here, but
yeah,
it's definitely something we've looked at.
Cool.
We'll talk
afterwards. Yeah.
My name's Justin. Just moved back to the Austin area after a 26-year stint in Germany. I'm a classically trained French horn player. Had the privilege of studying with the world's best, and actually then turned around and market the man himself. I've released several CDs for really top-notch 1% in the world French horn players. I'm an internet marketer. I've developed my own learning product. I'm the largest teacher of hunting horn in the German-speaking community in Europe. Now that sounds really great, but the money's about that. But having done that, I've learned everything. Doing the websites, doing video. I'm big into video. I've got 70 videos on YouTube. Also done consulting for some companies. That's pretty much my thing. Is I would call myself these days an internet marketer, and focused on video, and just happen to be a music guy. So I'm here to learn how you guys go about this, because I was classically trained. My way of going about all of this stuff, or creating music, is a completely different way. So I learned a lot today. Thank you. And that's it.
I'm Aaron Fields. This is my first time here. I'm not necessarily a music person, but I'm currently undergoing a career change from petroleum geology to Android development, and I'm trying to immerse myself into the tech scene. I have a friend that works at Everfest, and he turned me on to this group. So just here to kind of learn new things and network.
My name is Derek Suarez, and I also am a current student trying to transition from teaching high school for the past 7 years into the tech industry. So, and I've always been passionate about music. I used to play in a band for 5 years and just really loved it. And just here to meet people and network.
My name is James. I'm a developer and a fine artist. I'm kind of a musician, but I mostly come at the audio world from the kind of sound installation area. Do super collider programming, Chuck, some C++ stuff, I'm just here because I'm looking for interesting audio stuff.
Cool. Well, that leaves us with about half an hour. If there's any beer left, please have at it, and I'll let you guys just connect. For startup guys in the back, I like to do some quick navigation who you should talk to. Jordan and Theron. I always say it wrong. They have pretty established music tech companies in Austin in addition to these guys. So for any startup advice on music tech, you can talk to them or me. And then what else was I going to make? I saw something here. Okay, I forget. Anyways, figure it out on your own. But thanks for coming tonight, and we'll repeat this meetup next third Tuesday of September. So if you make sure that you are part of the Music Tech Meetup website, and you'll get all the notifications for that event. What's up?
Have you ever done a live music performance at one of these?
So that is an interesting comment. I've been working with Cameron from Jam Feed, another music tech company in town, to put together a live event for this. So TBD, but yeah, in the works currently. And maybe we could have some of y'all perform at that, which would be cool. We'd have a very eclectic performance. Cool. Well, let's. Do you want to queue up Andrew Duda? SoundCloud?
Bandcamp, right?
Bandcamp. What kind of music is it? Oh, that's right, yeah. Perfect. Is it explicit? Will anyone be offended? Is it misogynistic? Perfect.
There's hip hop. It's not misogynistic.
It exists.
Which one?
Where your head
Oh,
stays.
so much.
Right here?
Yeah, the first one.
Oh, yeah. But this one?
Where your head stays?
Oh, well, your hand is okay.
Where are you going?
I said where your hand is. I'm see where my hand is. I'm under It's amazing.
Awesome. It's so cool to be able to play music. Okay, so you go to the left, that's the best, and then take another left.
Yes, to me.
I'm not cheeky as hell against Alex. Yeah, they're probably. I don't know everyone that works there. I know that. They're in one situation where there are two.
Where are you at?
Yeah, it's like Jay is just in student
last September. Welcome back.
Thank you. You're
Kentucky.
Oh, Kentucky. Wow.
We're only there by
You said helicopters?
Yeah. So I've been in the Army for about 13 years. Production facility, produce Black Ops, and then policy guy, and Pentagon, and Capitol for a while. Yeah, it was fun.
I've got a friend of mine, husband, is a welder in Dallas that
Bell was up there.
Yeah, Bell. Yeah. So he's been a welder there for a long time.
That's great. We need them. Helicopters are an interesting animal. Very complicated. What brought you to Austin?
Well, I moved back. I was from Georgetown. It's a long story, but I decided to get as a single child, to come back and kind of start things up. And, Austin itself is just an incredible town because of stuff like this. So, starting over again, you're looking for a job.
I am.
Hello, I'm Justin.
What's out there?
Yeah, really. You followed her.
I did. We actually chose Austin, and then she's a food scientist, so the local company actually reached out to her and she could take a job downtown. Kind of works out great timing-wise. So we've got a little bit of time before we have to make a decision for my career.
Excellent.
Appreciate it. So if you know anybody hiring,
well, yeah. I will. I know the welder, Joe, but I don't know exactly.
Right.
That's good about it. He's in Dallas. When you said helicopters, and I was like, oh, okay.
Oh yeah, up in Bell.
Well, you probably shouldn't have a big problem in this town. Also credentials.
I appreciate it. Everybody keeps saying that.
Yeah, I know. I know exactly what you mean. It's like you can't pay bills with that.
Right. Yeah, there's been more than a couple folks. That's what it was. Yes, I remember. Like, you gotta talk to these guys. Like, I got nothing for him. Like, okay.
Yeah. Well, and it's also kind of one of those things where
I don't know. I was like, I know you from somewhere.
it's just like, don't go through all these deals and then not follow do what you say. Kind of with Germany,
big time.
You don't say something to say it.
It's a different culture.
And we'll take your word for it.
How long have you been doing the online market?
I've been doing that since 2009. Yeah. So it's really just kind of I was quite interested because it's my lead down to the under Meetup internet marketer. And since I do everything myself, I found myself to be kind of like this guy who knows what every step of the way. Because these guys, they're talking.